Hello, my dear students. I welcome you today to learn a new poem and enjoy the poem by understanding the deeper meaning of every line which are in this poem. The poem Amanda. This poem is written by Robin Klein. Her full name Robin McMacLean is an Australian author of books for children. She was born on 28th February 1936 in Kempsey, New South Wales, Australia. Now she resides near Melbourne. Why do we learn this poem? This poem enables you to understand and enjoy the theme and language by reading Amanda. It enables you to be specific in reflection, expression, an individual opinion and deeper understanding of Amanda. This poem enables you identify the connection towards words or phrases that resonate with other things. Through studying this poem, you know more about the poet and background of the poem. By studying this poem, you enrich your vocabulary, you acquire few grammar items, stress patterns, punctuation, pronunciation, rhyme and rhythm. First of all, let's discuss few new words. Inhabitant. The meaning of the word inhabitant, dweller. Example sentence. The hippo is an inhabitant of water. Mermaid, another word, mermaid. The meaning of the word, a woman with a tail of a fish. Mermaids are supposed to be found in water. Drifting, the meaning of the word, drifting, moving slowly. The car is drifting away from the crowd. The ship in the sea water drifts very slowly. Orphan. The meaning of the word orphan, one whose parents are dead. The children look like the orphans. They have lost their parents. Another word, nag. Find fault. The lady is trying to nag the man verbally. Nagging ends in negative response. Nobody likes to be nagged. I'll share some key points of this poem. First point, every child feels that she or he is controlled and instructed not to do one thing or another. Children have certain habits. Their parents teach them to mend those habits. These are for their benefit. Children have these habits because they want freedom. They want to feel naturally at home. Amanda is a small girl. She is a teenager, has certain unwanted habits. She is politely asked to mend those habits, but she seems to live in her own world as she is moody. This is the first stanza of this poem. I'll read it, you hear it. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. This poet has expressed the views of a little girl, Amanda, who is constantly pointed out by her mother for making mistakes which she considers as they are not part of the code of good conduct laid out by the society in which we live. Look at the first stanza. In this first stanza, Don't bite your nails. Don't hunch your shoulders. Here the meaning of the word hunch: bent, slouching, sitting in a lazy way, languid, relaxed, emerald. Here green color: inhabitant, resident, drifting. The meaning of the word drifting: carried slowly by the water. Blissfully. Meaning of this word: happily. Let's see the explanation of this stanza. One of the parents sees Amanda biting her nails. The parents tells Amanda not to bite her nails. She is also not to bend her shoulders and to sit up straight. The parent nags Amanda, nags constantly giving instruction. The parent nags Amanda for sitting lazily with her shoulders bent to a stoop. But Amanda is lost in her own dreams, imagination. She imagines herself to be a mermaid. Already we have studied the meaning of the word mermaid. The girl who is living in the sea with a fish tail. Mermaid drifting joyfully with the soft waves of the green sea. She imagined that she is sole inhabitant of the beautiful sea, and there is no one to nag or disturb her. In this, the poet is describing Amanda, a little girl who is always pointed out by her mother for her mistakes, and how she imagined her life to be. The poet says that the mother is finding out Amanda for biting her nails, which is a bad habit. Next, she asks her to sit straight without bending her shoulders. Amanda, who has a habit of bending her shoulders and sitting lazily, is being pointed out because her mother wants her to sit in the right position. At this point of time, when she is being scolded by her mother, she imagines herself to be in a deep green sea. Emerald, this is green. She says that she wants to be the only resident of this beautiful green sea. She imagines herself like a mermaid who is alone there and leads her life in a very relaxing way. She says that she wants to be carried away by the current of water and feel the relaxing environment there. Literary devices which are used in this stanza: anaphora is used here. Anaphora, what is anaphora? Repeated use of word at the start of two or more lines. Don't bite, don't hunch. Here don't is used again and again as anaphora, literary device. And assonance is used here. Use of vowel sound. Don't hunch your shoulders. Here don't hunch your shoulders. Vowel sound here and here and here. It is repeated. So assonance is used here. Rhyme scheme: A, B, A. C, C, C. Here A, B. How to find out? Here da, da, same sound. So A, B, A. And here C, 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 C. See me blissfully. The same sound comes. So the rhyme scheme of this lesson: A, B, here A, B, A, C, C, C. Let's move to the next stanza. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. I am an orphan. roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed, bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. In this stanza, you can see new words orphan. The meaning of the word orphan, child whose parents are dead, hushed, quiet and still place. Here the poet says that Amanda's mother is inquiring her about whether she has done her homework or not. And then she asked her whether she has cleaned her room or not. Moreover, she is also reminded to clean her shoes. So, here we can see that the mother is constantly asking her questions regarding her homework being done or not, or whether she had cleaned up her room and shoes or not. But on the other hand, while Amanda is listening to her mother's instructions, who is roaming in the streets, this means that she imagined if she would have been without parents, she would have walked freely in the streets. She would have drawn designs on the soft dust with her uncovered feet very quietly. So we can see that she thinks opposite to her mother. Her mother wants her to keep everything neat and clean, but Amanda wants to play in dust with her bare feet. Moreover, she is so fed up of these constant instructions from her mother that she says silence is golden, which means silence is very crucial and precious. She further says that freedom is sweet. This means she never feels free when she is with her mother because of her constant instructions. This parent asks this explanation in detail. The parents ask Amanda if she has finished her homework. She is asked if she has tidied her room. She had been asked to clean her shoes also. The parents ask her if she has done that, but Amanda is lost in her own thoughts. She imagines herself to be an orphan with no parents to nag her. She feels happy in being an orphan. She imagines that she is roaming in the street with bare feet. She is making soft patterns as she puts her feet gently in the dust. There is all silence about her with no one to nag her. For the little girl, this silence is golden. The freedom is so sweet. In this stanza, some literal devices, anaphora is used here. Did you. Repeated use of word as start of two words. Two sentences here. Rhyme here, Amanda, shoes. A, D, new sound, shoes, new sound. And here, street, feet, sweet, C, same sound. And the word Amanda is repeated here in the stanza, so repetition is used here. Silence is golden, indirect comparison. Silence is compared to the gold indirectly, so metaphor is used here. Freedom is sweet, here also this is also metaphor. Freedom is compared to sweet. Next, third stanza. Don't eat the chocolate, Amanda. Remember your egg, Amanda. Will you please look at me when I am speaking to you, Amanda? I am Rapunzel. I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I will suddenly never let down my bright hair. Explanation of this stanza. The parent sees Amanda eating a chocolate, tells her not to eat. The parent says that Amanda must not have forgotten the egg that she had got previously. However, Amanda is lost in her own dreams and does not look up to the parent. This parent feels irritated. He says that Amanda should look at her. This is mother. She says that Amanda should look at her when she is speaking to her. But Amanda remains lost in her dreams. She imagined herself to be golden, had a Rapunzel who lived in a castle and had no care. Amanda imagined that life for Rapunzel must have been very peaceful, wonderful in the tower. However, she says that she won't let down her bright hair the way Rapunzel had done. All the troubles of Rapunzel, as we know, had started because of her doing so. This is the explanation. I'll tell you again the explanation. Amanda's mother is disallowing her not to eat the chocolates. She reminds her of pimples that Amanda faces due to eating chocolates. At last, she scolds her for not paying attention to what her mother says. At this moment, Amanda imagined herself to be Rapunzel. Rapunzel was a character from a fairy tale that was captured in a tower. I'll tell you, Rapunzel. Here, Rapunzel is a character in a fairy tale. Rapunzel was captured in a tower by a witch. The witch used to climb the tower with the help of long hair of Rapunzel that were let down by her through the window. So now Amanda wants to be Rapunzel because she feels that the life in the tower will be peaceful and unusual. She thinks that she will be free and live in a peaceful environment in the tower. She also confirms to herself that she will never let her hair down to anyone so that nobody could come to her in the tower. What is the literary device is used? Allusion is used here. Use of famous fairy tale character Rapunzel is used in this stanza. So allusion. Repetition. Here also Amanda is repeated. So the repetition is used here. Now let's move to the next stanza. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You are always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You are always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. The parent keeps talking to Amanda about the various do's and don'ts, but Amanda remains lost in her own dreams. The parent thinks that Amanda is not responding because she is angry. The parent feels annoyed and asks Amanda to stop sulking at once. Parents say that it has become a habit with Amanda to remain irritated always. On seeing her, one would say that the parent has nagged at her and that's why Amanda is looking gloomy. The parent does not want Amanda to give others such an impression. So through this stanza, what the poet wants to say? Amanda's mother now wants her for behaving in a very odd manner. She asks her to stop being a bad mood. Moreover, she blames her of having such an unstable mood. She also scolds her by saying that her behavior will one day make people think that Amanda was constantly being harassed by her mother. So here we can say that though Amanda is always pointed out by her mother on every small thing, but she can't react to this. If she reacts towards this by getting emotional, her mother takes this against her sense of pride and scolds her that she should not behave like this, as others would think that Amanda's mother is very dominating towards her child. And here in this line, in this stanza, alliteration is used here. What is alliteration? Here first letter S, first letter S. Stop that sulking. Yes sound is repeated at the start of closely placed words. Here Amanda is used, so repetition is used here. The poem ends with this stanza. Let me summarize in detail. This poem depicts the state of a little girl's mind who is constantly instructed about do's and don'ts by her elders. She is not to hunch her shoulders and to sit up straight. She is told to finish her homework but tidy her room. She is forbidden from eating a chocolate that she has. But all the time, the little girl Amanda keeps dreaming of a life of freedom in the open. She dreams of mermaids in the sea, of roaming barefoot in the dusty street like orphan, and of the golden haired Rapunzel who lived alone in a high tower. She takes no note of what is being said to her. Then she is rebuked by her for being moody and sulking all the time. This is the summary in detail about this poem, poetic lines. Let's discuss some questions and answers. What picture of Amanda do you form from the poem Amanda? Amanda is a little girl little school going girl. She is teenager. She is constantly nagged by her parent. It is probably the mother. She keeps asking Amanda to do this or not to do that. But poor Amanda looks to be free and live life in her own way. Next question. What is Amanda asked to do or not to do? Amanda is asked not to bite her nails, not to hunch her shoulders, and not to eat chocolate. She is asked to sit up straight, to finish her homework, to tidy her room, and to clean her shoes. In fact, she is constantly asked to do this or not to do that. Next question. What does Amanda long to do at the sea? Amanda wants to be the sole inhabitant of the sea. She wants to be as free as a mermaid. She wants to be a mermaid so that she could drift joyfully with the gentle waves of the sea. Next question. Is Amanda an orphan? Why does she say that? Amanda is not an orphan. She is nagged all the time by her parent, so she feels it is better to have been an orphan. Then she could roam about freely in the street, leaving patterns of her bare feet in the soft dust. Next question. How old do you think Amanda is? How do you know this? Amanda is asked to finish her homework. It shows that she is a school-going girl. She seems to be around 10 years old or 13 years. She is constantly told to do this or not to do that. Next question. Who do you think is speaking to Amanda in this poem? Is one of the parents who is speaking to Amanda? It is probably the mother who remains all the time at home and keeps nagging poor Amanda. Next question. What could Amanda do if she were a mermaid? Amanda would then be the inhabitant of the sea. She could drift joyfully with the gentle waves of the sea. There would have been no one to nag her all the time. She could then move about freely where she liked. Next question. Do you know the story of Rapunzel? Write briefly. Rapunzel was a beautiful golden-haired girl. Her hair was very long. A witch had put her in a tower. A prince saw her and fell in love with her. Rapunzel let her hair down and the prince climbed up with her. The witch was very angry. She left Rapunzel alone in the desert. The prince at last found her and married her. Next question. Why does Amanda want to be Rapunzel? Rapunzel lived alone in a tower. There was no one to nag her all time. Amanda thinks that Rapunzel's life must have been a very beautiful and wonderful. That's why she wants to be Rapunzel. Next question. What does Amanda yearn for? What does the poem tell you about her? Amanda yearns for a life of freedom. She is fed up with the constant nagging of her parents. She wishes that she had been an orphan, so that there had been no one to nag her. Then she could move about freely and play where she liked. Next question. How old do you think Amanda is? How do you know this? Amanda is a little school-going girl, so maybe the teenager. We know this because her parents asked her to finish her homework. Who do you think is speaking to her? It is her parent, probably her mother, probably. Who is speaking to her? Why are stanzas 2, 4 and 6 given in parentheses? These stanzas depict the state of the girl's mind who is constantly nagged by her parent. Question number 4. Who is the speaker in the stanzas 2, 4 and 6? Do you think the speaker is listening to the speaker in the stanza 1, 3, 5 and 7? Answer. The speaker in these stanzas is the girl named Amanda. She is lost in her own dreams and does not listen to what is being said to her. Question number 5. What could do if she were a mermaid? She would drift with the gentle waves of the sea. Next question. Is Amanda an orphan? Why does she say so? No, she is not an orphan. She simply imagined that there would have been no one to nag her if she had been an orphan. Next question. Do you know the story of Rapunzel? Why does Amanda want to be Rapunzel? Rapunzel was a golden-haired girl who had been kept in a tower by a witch. Amanda thinks that Rapunzel's life in the lonely tower must have been very happy and wonderful. That's why she wants to be Rapunzel. Next question. What does the girl yearn for? What does this poem tell you about Amanda? This girl yearns for a life of freedom. The poem tells us that she is an imaginative girl who is constantly nagged by her unimaginative parent. Next question. Read the last stanza. Do you think Amanda is sulking and is moody? No, Amanda is neither sulking nor she is moody. She simply longs for her freedom. She wants to go out and play where she likes. And these are all the questions we have discussed. My dear students, you go through this poem again and read the poem again. If you have any doubt related to the meaning, if you have any questions related to the stanzas, you can ask me. I will clarify your doubts. Read this poem again and enjoy the poem. Thank you so much, my dear students. Thank you so much.